Alright, so I've had a week to play with the GoPro Hero 9 Black. This thing is actually pretty awesome. And I really like it because it's, rugged, it's compact, it's waterproof right out of the box, and it's super stabilized video. It also doesn't have any connectivity issues with the GoPro app, which I had a lot of issues with the Hero 8 Black, and that was one of the reasons why I returned it. But this thing's been connecting non-stop, so whatever it was, they've really worked out all those kinks and stuff. So the other cool thing about an action cam versus like a regular cam is obviously it's designed for people that play sports or recreational activities, or putting it inside a car or on a helmet or something like for your motorcycle, whatever the case may be. But it has like a lot of like accessories, so you could like put it here, clip it on this and stuff. Like if you had a backpack on or something, or you could clip this somewhere, put it there. You can have your chest gear. This is the one I typically wear for my scooter and stuff when I'm using that. So you just kind of wear this, and obviously stays on your chest and stuff. So, and there's like the headgear one, so you could put it on your head and put it like that. So a lot of cool things and stuff. And obviously this is the floating thing. I got this from my E4K, but obviously works just as fine for the GoPro. And this one, if you put it inside the water, it kind of floats up, so it stays on top. And you could get like the super selfie stick and stuff, and then just kind of like hook it up and see it from a distance and stuff, so I could see you. So a lot of things, a lot of accessories, a lot of different ways of using this. How long does the battery last? That's one of the questions that I had, right? So, well, I put it to the test, and we're here to find out. So, super important to note, this is a stationary test that I did for battery longevity to see how long it would last. And I put it on my desk, and I was just pointing at my watch, and I just clicked record and did nothing. I was in an air-conditioned room. 5K, 30 frames per second, recorded for 27 minutes. It used 34% battery, and it overheated and turned off. So if I interpolate the results, if it didn't overheat and turn off, it would in theory record 79 minutes. Now, important thing to note, the screen was on. Both screens were on the entire time I was testing this. So I was like maxing it out essentially to see if it can handle that or it's going to overheat, and it overheated. But again, 27 minutes of non-stop recording. Then I tried it with the same exact thing, 5K, 30 frames per second, except this time the screen turned off after a minute. So after the screen turned off, it recorded for 60 minutes continuous, so more than double the time, and it used up 71% of the battery. So if I interpolate those results, I will get 84 minutes of recording time, assuming it doesn't overheat. Then I tried it at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so at the lower settings essentially, and it recorded with the screen on the entire time. It recorded for 24 minutes, and it used up 30% of the battery, and it overheated and turned off. So if I interpolate those results, I will get a recording time of around 80 minutes. And finally, I recorded at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so the exact same as before, except this time the screen turned off after a minute. And it recorded the entire way, it didn't overheat, and it recorded for 99 minutes. So that was the only time it didn't overheat. But, super important, this is an action cam in the name. It is not a station or stationary cam. So I think, when you're outside, when I was using this with the scooter and stuff, it didn't overheat. And I think the reason why is because I'm moving, so there's kind of like air hitting it and kind of cooling it down. So I think that makes a difference, especially if you're putting it inside the water and stuff. I don't think it's going to overheat. So, but it did overheat nonetheless, so it's something I'm going to mention, and it would be nice if they could improve that. But, however, the reason why we have to understand why I think it's overheating is because it's waterproof. Being waterproof is like being a double-edged sword, right? So, in order to make it waterproof, you have to stop the water from going inside it. But the problem with doing that is you're also stopping it from cooling down because you're kind of closing up all the vents and stuff. So, whereas normally that would help with the cooling. So, kind of a double-edged sword. It's the same thing with my E4K, right? It's not waterproof right out of the box, and it doesn't overheat typically, but when I put it inside the waterproof case, it does overheat very quickly unless I go inside the water. When I go inside the water, then it's fine, it doesn't overheat. Okay, getting on to some of the cool features, TimeWarp 3.0, pretty awesome. You can make a lot of cool stuff with that, especially in the car. It actually looks cool anywhere, but in the car, I really, really like it because it just looks so cool. You could put it with some music and stuff. I also really like the fact that you could, while it's in TimeWarp, you could just go back to normal mode without actually changing a whole bunch of options. So you can go to TimeWarp, regular, and you couldn't do that before. That's new in TimeWarp 3.0 with the Hero 9 Black. I also really like the Slo-Mo, so I tested it out at 1080p 240 frames per second, so it does 8x Slo-Mo, but I actually slowed it down to 10x so on Premiere Pro, and motion was smooth, everything looked good, so thumbs up for that. I wish it was 480 frames per second, but it's 240 is still pretty good, but they always leave room for improvement. So maybe the Hero 10 Black next year, who knows. Hypersmooth, this is the major selling point of the GoPro Hero 9 Black. The Hypersmooth 3.0 creates, what is that? It creates super stable video. Super stable. It essentially crops the corners and the end result is very, very, very stabilized video. Insanely. It's kind of like it being on a gimbal. And it's pretty crazy. So there were 3 levels a few days ago. It was off, on, and boost. These were the Hypersmooth settings. And today I actually updated it, and now there's 4 settings. So there's off, on, the new setting which is high, and boost. So I haven't tested high with actual footage, but I did test boost, and boost is amazing. That's all I can say. The other cool thing is obviously it does free updates, so they add features and stuff just like that as an example. Also, when this thing came out of the box at 5K 30 frames per second, which is its highest setting, you couldn't use the front screen for video while it was recording, and after the update they enabled that. Now I think it's because it's too much for the processor to handle, because it's already doing so much at 5K. That's a lot of resolution. But they did add it, and again, by adding it, it does tend to, use more battery, obviously, and it also would overheat a little bit too. It would heat up a little bit more because, there's more things on, so naturally. But at 1080p 240 frames per second, you still can't enable the front screen, at least as of now. They'll probably enable that in the future, I don't know, but again, it's probably because it's super processor intensive, so they might not enable it. Okay, so I had no connectivity issues with this whatsoever, which I really, really like over the Hero 8 Black, for instance, which was one of the reasons why I returned it. But this one with the GoPro app, solid. Connect, solid. No problems whatsoever. Awesome. And video quality looks good, audio sounds good. Waterproof out of the box, up to 10 meters, 33 feet. And they sell a case, so if you want to go deeper than that, and you can also use it as a webcam, which is probably useful these days because of COVID. And you can also do 1080p live streams with this. So all of this right out of the box, so really, really cool. All packed for $449 retail, unless you get it from GoPro.com. They're running a special right now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but if you sign up for their subscription service, which stores your stuff online, they also replace the GoPros or whatever. Now, kind of the negatives, again, I already mentioned them, but overheating, I wish it was a little bit better, but I understand because of the waterproofing. And UI is still a little bit laggy, not crazy lag or anything like that, but it's nowhere near like a modern day cell phone, which is like butter smooth. So nothing like that, but it's okay, it's not terrible or anything like that. But one thing I did wanna, I hope GoPro adds this feature. I don't know if they will or not, but I do hope they do add this feature, and hopefully they watch this video and actually add this feature. But The way you get to turn on the front screen is you actually have to go to your options, click on displays, and change the timer to turn it off to never. Like, oh, don't turn off the front and the back screen. The thing is, I would like it because this thing gives you a lot of custom modes. So you could set a lot of custom modes like, oh, I want this to be at 5K 30 frames per second, or I want this to be 4K with, 60 frames with horizon leveling, whatever, right? It would be nice if within those modes, those custom modes that you could set, you can also choose to leave the screen on or off. And that's just a simple software change for them. The reason why is because I want to make a selfie mode. In that selfie mode, I want the screen to stay on. But on all my other modes, I want the screen to stay off, personally. Now, obviously, it's really just like a pet peeve kind of thing where, because I could really just, go to the option and leave, change it for the screen to be on. But it would be really nice if I didn't have to do that. Just by picking my mode, it does that automatically. And again, that's just a software fix. So hopefully they do add that with some, future update and stuff. But overall, I actually really like this thing. And I think I'm going to give up my E4K. I've had it for a number of years. I bought it for really cheap. I think it was around $200 or so, many, many years ago. And it's done well. It's not like the best thing in the world, but for the price, I think it did a pretty good job, and it's lasted for all these years, so can't complain. But definitely the GoPro is higher quality for sure, but obviously it does cost more as well, so something to keep in mind. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all my current subscribers.